2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, Grok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from Grok.com.
Grok Talk.
So, Walter, you want to talk a little politics?
Oh, sure, why not?
So, the past few months, have you liked the candidates?
You're kidding me, right? It's like looking down the bar right before closing time. You're like, that's it? This is all they had to choose from? Can this be like poker? Can we fold and start with a new hand, please?
But you know, the big political news now is that both Ted Cruz and John Kasich have dropped out of the race for the Republicans.
But before the polls closed in Indiana, Ted Cruz called Trump a pathological liar, amoral, a narcissist, and a serial philanderer.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure Trump was probably like, yeah, and?
Writing.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Grok Talk. Woohoo! Yay! Jeff Dunham and Walter. They are not guests on our show today. That's just a little audio. We have Carrie Severino from the Judicial Crisis Network returning to talk about Merrick Garland's failed charm offensive. And Jim Lawrence, I guess, is going to be coming in to tell us what he's learned from voters. I guess he's been out talking to people who vote, and he wants to share some insights with us. We've also got Robert Pondicio, the vice president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute, talk about a little education. And then David French from National Review is going to come on the program a little later on, and that should be great.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of questions.
I have been reading David French for years, and I just can't wait to meet him, although the topic we originally signed him up for, I think, has been surpassed by some of his latest writings at NRO, or The Corner.
Well, I mean, he was talking about, it's still not a bad topic. I mean, I was trying to read up on the situation in Tennessee with abortion and all the other stuff that's going on. So it's a good place to start from. I want to ask him Game of Thrones questions, but, maybe we'll get to that, maybe we won't. Anyway, so until then, we have a little bit of time, and as usual, we like to try to do some things early on in the show. We could certainly talk about the news of the week, what we know of it, and we've got the WTFs, we've got who knows what.
WTFs.
You get started, I'll take a little nap, and let me know when it's time to do something.
Ah, okay. Well, I thought let's bring it close to home. Harvard. Harvard just loves its students. It wants equality for all students to the point where it's willing to blacklist its own students that live off campus in their own organizations. No! Yeah, seriously. Harvard brings back the blacklist for Final Club fraternity and sorority students, all in the name because equality. In a stunning attack on the freedom of association, Harvard University announced today that members of independent single-sex off-campus organizations will be blacklisted. Not may, not can, but will be blacklisted from the Rhodes and Marshall scholarships and banned from leadership of on-campus organizations or athletic teams.
So now you can have hairy, unattractive women in the sororities, and they won't be feminazis.
Yeah, they will begin to be denied these opportunities in an effort to foster inclusion and address deeply rooted gender attitudes. In other words, we're seeing the more compulsive collectivism from the left that is ensconced in the ivory towers.
So sexual predators can now be allowed into sororities? Is that where we're going with
I think that's what it's saying, especially if they wear a dress.
And you certainly can't screen them. That would be wrong.
Yeah,
No. So therefore, are rapes committed as a result of such policies automatically given a pass because they can't have happened?
Well, here's the thing: we've been talking about this stupid 1 in 5 rape allegation for years that's been going on.
Which is total nonsense.
Total nonsense.
It's up, although it's reached the proportion of the whole women's equal pay thing. as far as the scope of the ridiculousness.
I mean, if this
of it.
was really happening, let's face it, campuses would be nothing but concentration camps with armed guards at every single corner of the dorm hallways or such.
Yeah, considering that more women go to college and get degrees than men, you'd certainly think.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. You're seeing all these men getting railroaded out of... Oh, is that a microaggression for me to say railroaded out? Out of these star chambers.
Oh, yes. You now have... You've disenfranchised the homosexual voters.
Homosexual. Yeah, now we're back to that post.
Yeah.
I thought that was rather stupid.
That was great. That was just great. Homosexuals.
What we're talking about is a post I put up. Powerline has this ability.
You know what the coal industry needs to do? They need minor sexuals. They would get money. People would use coal. They're just going at it the wrong way.
Yeah, I love it. Here's Hillary saying, I'm going to put miners and coal companies out of business. And Trump is saying in West Virginia, I'm going to make you proud to be a miner again. Guess who's just lost West Virginia?
Exactly. So anyway, back to your point.
But, yes, we just go all a flitter
you saw
here.
the picture I posted up that was clipped straight off of Fox.
Yeah.
Trump digs coal. And
Yeah.
So is Trump stealing the election in Appalachia?
Oh, we'll see. But
Shall
anyways,
we
back
cheer?
to this. You know, we've seen men who have been falsely accused of rape on college campuses denied their due process in these star chambers where the feminazis are actually holding court, or what they want court, which is basically hang them high. Turn around and actually go out to the real judicial process, which is supposed to be de rigueur here in the United States, and sue them for 6 or 7 figure dollar settlements. So I can't wait to see these Harvard people, these Harvard students who have now been denied their freedom of association, turn around and sue all of these, sue Harvard for all of its endowment, which is like $56 or $75 billion.
Sue Harvard.
Sue Harvard.
That's a hashtag.
And there's a bonus there because now Republicans, especially in D.C., are starting to eye these huge endowments at these Ivy League schools and saying, how can we tax this? And I would just love to see the students get it before the politicians. Gender fluid. Yeah, that's... I mean, gender fluid. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Here, you'll have...
Whoa. Yeah.
Here, let's put it up.
I got that from Conservative
Oops.
HQ. They're illustrating a piece that they heard on CNN.
Yeah,
you can't change your sexuality, but your gender is fluid. Just remember that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You were born that way, but you weren't born that way.
And that's what the cultural Marxists want. They want nothing to be absolute. This is just almost the epitome.
It is, though. You can't help that you're gay. You can be as female or male as you want at any given moment in time, but you can't help that you were born gay. So,
but it's this gender fluidity. It's just another case of extending to its absurdity moral relativism, where where basically the whole game is to make nothing mean anything.
Correct.
And you
have to destroy everything before you can build utopia.
And that's what they're doing. There's a post on Mother's Day.
Since these people are so clever and so highly functional, and there's less than 2% of them, why don't we just put them all in a utopia camp and let them work it out?
Utopia.
Yeah, well, then you get back to the cultural Marxists, is that we all have to be in together. Just to swing back finally to my Harvard story.
Swing.
It's fluid.
Yeah. All right, sloshing.
Sloshing.
All right, so...
it's a gender fluid story.
Yeah. Then there was this other one. Oh, yes. You've probably all heard the story that the German military is severely underfunded, has rotten equipment, and is basically overweight. They can't fight to save their lives. And even in Afghanistan and Iraq, they couldn't do anything. They weren't even allowed out of the wire. So now they're trying to fix things. But, I learned a strange little fact that the German military actually gets overtime. And I thought that this was just great until they started to do exercises with NATO, with all the NATO countries and stuff. What are you doing?
Exercises with NATO.
Didn't catch that one. And a couple of days into one of the latest ones, they actually had to go home. Do you know why? They ran out of their overtime ration. Now, this is a military that, you can't fight because we have no money for overtime. Yeehaw. So it feeds right into this.
Excuse me. You have to stop shooting. We're on overtime.
Yes, we're off the clock now. Goodbye. In the wake of the 2015 ISIL attack in Paris and 2016 in Brussels, most of the data that the European countries have been gathering for a decade on the extent of Islamic terrorists, they're having to reveal all that data publicly, and it's been getting up there. But they largely kept it out of the news. There's a growing public pressure to go public with this information, and the Paris and Brussels attacks has made that all happen. Germany reported that since 2007, at least 22 military personnel have been identified as Islamic radicals and supporters of Islamic terrorism. Well, here you go. You get to fight Islamic terrorism by putting them all in the military, because once they've hit their overtime maximum, they have to lay their arms down. I thought it was amusing.
Yes, but Allah doesn't require you to be paid, so they'll pick them back up.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing is Trump and his Twitter feed now going after goofy Elizabeth Warren. And this, as Steve and I were talking about before I turned the camera on this morning, is going to be a wonder to behold. I don't think we can sell enough popcorn to watch these two go at it on their Twitter feeds.
But you know what? Elizabeth Warren is a smart cookie. We may despise her politics, but she is not to be underestimated.
Oh, but I just can't wait.
Yeah, but she's not ready for Trump.
No.
She's not. She's ready to do battle under the rules of engagement established by the Democrat Party and the media. That's what she's ready for. And she may be a tough cookie, but he's not. He doesn't even see. He doesn't care. He does not care. The difference is that Democrats are successful, and we all know this, and most of our listeners do, because they know Republicans care. They know they can get him to back down. They know they can get him to apologize and resign. Trump's not going to do any of that stuff. He's going to double down.
Yeah, I mean, look at us. We don't care either. Remember when they used to attack us all the time?
They never
Harold.
Why is the point? There's no. After a while, we're just like, we're not going away. We're not going to change our opinions.
Yeah, and they gave up on us. And I think this is going to be fun. Like him or not, Trump can be very amusing and entertaining going after these people who are all full of themselves, these social justice warrior wingnuts on the left. And he is just going to end up shutting her down because she's made so many mistakes trying to play the Pocahontas line. And wait till he gets to her Warrenism, that you didn't build that. So here you've got this. Mm-hmm. Even if he's only earned only is worth $3.7 billion, like Forbes is saying, and not the 10 that he says, it's still a heck of a lot of money that he has earned in excess of the $1 billion loan that Daddy gave him. And what has Warren accomplished? Well, she gets $400,000 a year for teaching a single law class. Tell me, who's the productive member of society here? And I think he's going to be the epitome of, I did build that.
And even when Trump is wrong, it's still a life lesson for us all to behold.
Oh yeah, one way or the other.
One way or the other. You're absolutely right. If nothing else good comes out of this, Trump will have taught Republicans how to take it to the enemy, and that's important. And I got this one thought for you from one of my co-workers who said, "Why did the Republicans pick a Democrat?"
1 minute.
To which my answer was, so you'll have two to choose from. Yeah. Because he's an old-fashioned Texas Democrat, meaning he's mostly conservative.
Well, I don't know. I look at them both, Hillary and Trump, as being two New York liberals. So, yeah, that's not exactly great to pick from. But we're almost out of time, aren't we, Steve?
Yeah, we're going to call Carrie Severino from the Judicial Crisis Network, and we will be back after this short break.
Excellent.
Rock